It'd be a shame if I had to kill you if you said anything.
I told you about killing people, dude.
I want to find out what's underneath that mask.
I'm not wearing a mask. I have fur.
Greetings, Guilders, and welcome to Session 0 of Tales from the Riot Nexus. I'm your humble host, Timbo the Wizard, your resident DM, and I'm joined by my lovely and excellent cast of intrepid spelljamming individuals. We're going to go ahead and around and introduce my players. First, Domino, why don't you take us away?
Hello, I am DominoRBG. My pronouns are he, they, and I will be playing Callan Zelithar, aka Cal, whose pronouns are also he, they.
Perfect. Next, Galaxie.
Hi, I'm Galaxie or GalaxieBot. My pronouns are they, them, and I am going to be playing Kite in the Wind, and his pronouns are he, they.
Perfect. Next, we have Raich.
Everybody, I'm Raichkyu. My pronouns are she, her. I'm playing Lux, whose pronouns are also she, her.
Fantastic. And last but certainly not least, Werewolf.
Hi, my name is Wherewolfbf. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Lance a Little, pronouns he, him.
Perfect. Alrighty. So we open our session today by just a brief tour of the bubble. If there were a proverbial camera in your mind's eye, it would be panning across the luscious and beautiful landscapes, which are just meticulously maintain the gardens of Fowen Castle as we pan down through the castle streets, out of the garden, down into down across like just this classic medieval settlement, like all spires and knights in armor. Although some of those knights appear to be shining with their own inner light as our camera passes by them, but we may give them a glance as we continue. It fades out and fades back into just glowing, effervescent crystals that are emerging out of the ground, and like it's kind of like panning down from the sky and from the starry vista. And as the camera pans down this huge glowing crystal, which is, as we watch it, is like pulsing with this inner light, fades down to the base of the crystal, where you see there is a small mechanical figure seemingly interfacing with it. He's got diodes and wires coming out of his person and connecting to a strange machine that is set up at the crystal, and you see him like fervently typing away into it. And as he does so, the pulsing of the crystal becomes more rapid before coming to a fever pitch and becoming blinding light as we fade away. And then as we continue, we come to the fading in comes as mist billowing across the screen, and we see the cloudy streets of Cloud 9 with just huge giant figures stepping effortlessly on these like solidified clouds. The landscape beautiful and ornate and just very colorful with all these almost like halogen like illusions promoting different wares and businesses all across the city streets. As we continue, the camera continues to pan, following like an unseen track, and we find ourselves at a shipyard, a space shipyard, where we find our intrepid party beginning to board the vessel that is going to take them on the next leg of their journey. They're not leaving a planet per se; it's more of a moon as it's orbiting a larger, orbiting a larger body, and stepping off the dock and on to this large glowing vessel, which has banded gold and glass over the top of it as like a pilot's quarters. The underside of it, this large piece of machinery, which seems to be like almost emitting this beam of hard light energy out directly in front of it that terminates very suddenly. And as we kind of pan down the ship, we see the first party member move into the focus, and we see Cal. What does Cal look like?
Cal is an astral elf. He has brown skin. He's roughly about 6'3", 6'4". He's got a very long red duster that he wears, and under that he also wears like a turtleneck sweater, but the chest is just exposed. You can see everything. And typically on his right thigh you can find a trusty revolver. If you pan back up to his eyes, you'll see that they're very unique. It's almost like looking into the cosmos themselves.
Beautiful. And as Cal ascends the walkway up to the ship, tagging right behind them is another figure. Lux, what do you look like?
Stands at a good 5'2". She's very, very concealed in very particular places. Like, she has an eye patch over her eye. She has a mask over her mouth. She's hooded. Her hair kind of peeks out through her hood, and she's got very the one eye that's showing is super vibrant violet, and she's also accompanied by a ghost dog,
A little pupper.
a little puppy.
Perfect. As if following Cal as well, just hot on Lux's heels. That ghost dog follows Lux up the gangway as well.
No, but what's the dog look like?
Yeah, what's the dog look like?
Great question. It kind of this is got this beautiful kind of translucent fur, it kind of silvery, very, very reminiscent of a wolf, and it's just very. There's something a little bit off about it, but otherwise it's extremely beautiful.
Perfect. Yeah, and y'all make your way up the gangway, and you'll have already produced your tickets and gotten them stamped, and you are ready to board. And as you step up, there is one last final check. You see a sign that says, "All extra-dimensional gear must be stowed in the outside compartment baggage to avoid space distortions."
Paul pauses. He reads the sign, and you can just kind of see him visibly wilt a little bit. And he mutters loud enough for someone to hear him, but it's just what? How much sense does that make? What's it going to do in the hole that it's not going to do on deck?
Try and find out if you want.
He turns and he looks down and completely ignores Lux, and he just stoops down to Itzel's level, and he's just it doesn't make much sense, does it, boy? Why do I have to put my belongings down there? Why can't I just keep them with me?
Lex is just looking at Cal and the wolf, and just silently just watching. Have they checked their baggage yet? Or have they not yet? Or does my dog have a collar right now?
He currently does still have his collar. It looks like this last checkpoint that you're going through is where you would store your baggage.
Oh. Okay, so Lex is just gonna look down at Itzel and just be like, "Oh my god." Okay. And she just very carefully undoes the collar.
As the collar comes off of the dog, you see it's imperceptible to everybody except for Lux and Cal. Lux because she knows what's happening in this moment, and Cal because he's standing right there. And I think he has an incredibly high passive perception, right? Cal, what's your passive?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. It's a 13.
13? Okay. Even so, Cal, you recognize that, especially since you're at eye level with Itzel, there is, as the collar is removed, almost like a shockwave that kind of ripples through his fur. Almost like, sometimes when cats get startled, they have their fur kind of stick up and they have that motion, right? That wave-like motion go through their body. Almost like that. and you see Itzel like maybe shrink like about half a centimeter.
You're stressing him out.
No, he's stressed out by being naked in public, aren't you, boy? And he goes to pet Itzel.
Well, you're staring right into his face. It's going to stress him out.
No, it's not.
Oh my god.
You love me, don't you? Don't you, buddy?
Itzel does seem to enjoy Cal's pets, which is, I think, notable to you, Lux, because Itzel doesn't really like anybody.
So she lets it, because of that, she's just going to let Cal keep petting him and just take care of the collar and try to securely store it very carefully.
You're such a good boy. I'd be nervous too if I was just running around with no clothes. It's really not fair. It's fucked up.
It's not the same as no clothes.
Cruelty!
She's just gonna kind of like motion them along, like, okay, let's keep moving, let's go.
Hold on. Cal stands to his feet and he kind of stretches a little bit. And he reaches within his duster and produces a bag of holding. It's older, it looks worn, and it has some markings that probably look unfamiliar to most people. And so he opens it up and he pulls out, some extra ammo just in case, because apparently you can have all the firepower you want on this vessel, but interdimensional items, no, that's the line. Those have to be stored away in a safe place before he relinquishes that to the proper attendant.
Excellent, yes. And the attendant will take your things, both from Lux and Cal, storing them safely in their hold before allowing you to continue on your way. You enter into the ship, which has like onto the sun deck almost, which is kind of like at the front of the ship, and you see that there are, heading towards the back, there are 3 doors that are set into the wall. And as you watch, the 3 doors quickly rotate through like multiple colors, like black, red, green, black, blue, yellow, before settling on one, at which point the door opens and a passenger enters into the door before it shuts again, and it begins cycling once more. And if you watch long enough, even the same doorway opens multiple times, and it appears to be leading to different spaces each time.
I'm willing to bet those are our seating arrangements.
That's typically how this works. You go in a train and you sit. Sorry, space jamming vessel.
For as long as you've been tagging along, you still really haven't learned how to be much of a conversational partner.
So, give me an example what you would want me to say right now, then.
Gee, Cal, I've never been on a space jamming vessel before. I didn't know how that worked. That looks really neat. Oh boy.
No. It just keeps walking.
See, Itzel, how do you deal with this all day?
At this time, Itzel ignores you and follows after Lux.
Not you too.
Amazing. Y'all wait in a very short, brief line before the door opens up and it leads you to your seating arrangement. Next, we come back to the gangway, the camera panning back downwards, and we see a duo walking up, this time together. Let's go ahead and introduce Galaxie. Why don't you introduce Kite?
Yeah, of course. So Kite is a pure black tabaxi. He's pretty covered up, but he's got, black fur, a tail, pretty tall, pointy ears, green eyes that are real sharp, and they're kind of hidden a little bit behind the hood of his cloak, which is kind of, billowing around him a little bit. He's in fairly fine clothes, but they're not like super colorful or anything like that. They're mostly dark greens, dark blues. And on his right leg, he's got or his right thigh, I should say, he's got a large spell book strapped there that he's got kind of one hand on most of the time. And then on the other side, he's got a little holster for what looks to be some kind of like wand. Next to him, just kind of floating in the air, swimming in the air, I should say, is a little space guppy named Doldrum, who is following after him and keeping pretty close. But overall, he's kind of like stiff and pulled in tight, and he's kind of hiding his face behind like the collar, his tall collar, so that he can peek out but not really be seen.
Excellent. And walking astride from you up the gangway as well is Lance. Werewolf, go ahead.
Lance is about 6.5, 7 feet tall. Very, very tall. Young cloud giant. Has a sort of like seafoam teal kind of hue to their skin, and starting bottom, like toe to tip, we've got riding boots, cargo pants, brown and white cow print vest, pink fur jacket, and a large pair of sunglasses that he takes off to reveal a smaller pair of sunglasses that just sit on the bridge of his nose. And he goes, Miss Lady, Kite, Miss Lady, Kite, I should say. Do we know where our tickets are?
I thought you had the tickets.
Oh, God. Pardon me. And he, like, reaches deep into a bag and starts, like, digging around looking for the tickets.
Did you lose our tickets again?
No, I'm certain that I have them. I'm certain that I have them.
You better.
And fully, just like kind of a large tote bag situation, reaching deep into it, full arm at this point, and then rummages around, pulls out the 2 tickets for our party. Oh, of course I have them.
Don't scare me like that. We need to go. So don't scare me like that.
God, no, I know. I'd rather not have to stay here for any longer than we need to.
That would be preferable.
And we head up the gangplank.
Yeah.
Perfect, yes. And y'all are greeted to much the same sight that Lux and Cal had seen of folks storing their individual items away into the hold.
I think, Kite starts pulling out like just an incredible amount of paper. They're in crates, but it's just like lots of paper that he is very much giving them very specific instructions to store in a dry place because he will be very upset if it gets wet. He's being polite, but he's like, if this gets wet, I will end something. I don't know what, but I'll be very upset.
But something will be over.
Something will be over.
Lance is fully prepared, has like a small attaché that will be going into the cargo hold, and then still has the tote bag, which just has like a fun adult coloring book and a crochet project that he does not plan on finishing, and is ready to go onto the vessel.
Beautiful, yes. And as you board the ship, which you take note to be the Crepuscular Ray, you see the doors changing colors as well. And as you advance, again, waiting in that brief line, the door opens inward, and Kite and Lance, y'all walk through it. Upon doing so, you find that you are in a small cabin with some very, like, kind of smaller, but, you know, fairly comfortable looking seats that look like they can recline, as well as 2 other individuals in there, Cal and Lux.
Kite looks at Cal and Lux and then just very quietly puts himself in the furthest corner of the seat and settles himself down, trying not to look at either of them.
Lance stops short and looks and goes, oh, a bit of serendipity. Well, and he starts to look around and is kind of looking in between the corners of things and kind of like weird angles and sort of quizzically looking around, considering the little bit of serendipity of running into these 2 people that he's run into a couple times before.
Cal leans over to Lux and Itzel, and he's like, okay, we have company, so please be polite, be courteous, and put your best face on. Itzel, you too.
Alex's eyes squint at him as he's talking.
No. I said best face.
Lex is currently trying to also distract Itzel from the tabaxi.
Yeah, Kite is like side-eyeing the dog a little bit. Is just kind of got his arms crossed. He's got the cloak kind of like around him. He's just like looking at the dog with his ears like, you know, in that position that cats like put their ears in sometimes, where they're like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that. His tail is like twitching a little bit next to him.
Cal looks over to Lance and just kind of repeatedly looks them up and down and gets that face that you that you make when you see someone that you know you've seen before, but you don't know where from, and also you don't remember just exactly how acquainted you are. And he's like, puffs.
Can I tell that Cal is having a moment?
Yeah, it's pretty visible on his face.
Definitely. I think Cal is having a moment trying to think it over, and Lance realizes that, and just to fuck with him a little bit, winks at him.
Cal freezes for a second and just gives like just a doofy, sheepish smile. Hey, I think I've seen those puffs somewhere before.
Oh yeah, Lance, as like most cloud giants do, has like hair that kind of coalesces from clouds into hair into just kind of like shapes, and has all of his hair pulled up into two space buns that sit at the top of his head. And he kind of like takes his hand and bounces them and goes, definitely, I think that I've seen you somewhere recently. I guess, you know, small worlds, I would say.
Oh, it's the tiniest system. He puts like a hand in front of his mouth and he does like the little wave like, oh.
Kite is like staring daggers at Lance, like in that, please sit down and stop talking to the people that we have run into here. Please. Like, he's not saying anything, but he is like giving Lance like a little bit of a like, aren't we like, stop drawing attention to us and things. Stop.
Oh, fine. And Lance will pull out whatever book he's currently reading and enjoy that while we wait for the vessel to sort of depart. Oh, and as we're sitting there, a small familiar kind of crawls up onto Lance's shoulder. It's his familiar lady. She is a astral chewinga. She has a grayish black body and a large poof of hair that is kind of sky blue in the shape of a heart. And she sits on Lance's shoulder and reads with him.
Beautiful. Excellent. Yeah. Y'all kind of settle into this fairly nice cabin. There is one window, although you're not really sure how it works because like you didn't see any other than for the ship's deck or for the pilot's deck. You didn't see any windows like facing outward. So you're not really sure how this view is coming to be. But it's a fairly nice view of the astral sea. An hour or so passes as the rest of the folks board, the final checks are done, and y'all lift off. The large glowing rail of light energy projects forward onto the horizon and the vehicle, the space train, if you will, diligently follows that rail as the crepuscular ray takes off into the sky. And after a few hours, you find yourselves on the astral sea. And it is that funny moment where you're pretty immediately able to tell when you've passed over from that like border ethereal, if you will. You realize that you're not feeling very hungry as much. You also, you feel like a little bit more weightless, if you were. Like you feel like gravity is of course naturally pulling you down, but you know, there's something about being in the astral sea that just feels different than regular space. It's at about this point that y'all are out on your voyage proper. It's been like 3 or 4 hours, and y'all are able to go out onto the sun deck and stretch your legs, that kind of thing.
About how much longer would you say we have on this trip?
The trip takes about 2 days to get to the town that you guys are going to, which is the town of Respite on the edge of the frontier zone.
Cal gets up and he looks at Kite and he goes, it's gonna be a really long trip to just be cooped in here with a bunch of strangers. Why not try to make some friends while you're here?
Kite kind of looks at Cal, and his ears kind of go back. And I think he resists the urge to immediately just hiss at you. And instead, he kind of is like, I don't just trust like that. I don't know who you two are.
Oh, well, my name's Cal.
Oh no.
And this...
Don't get me involved.
Shining ray of starlight.
Don't get me involved.
Yeah.
This is Lux.
Didn't she just say don't get her involved?
Yes.
Well, she's following me around. So if you're following someone around, then doesn't that mean you're involved in whatever they're involved with?
See, this is what I'm saying, Kite, and just does not get it.
I'm not following you around. I bet you she's not following you around either. He kind of gestures at Lux and Cal.
He can think whatever he wants. It's fine.
No, that's gonna make our case worse.
Cal shrugs and he goes, okay, well, I'm gonna go stretch my legs. See y'all later. And he just kind of walks out onto the sun deck.
Kite looks at Lance and is like, I don't trust that one.
Oh no, certainly there is something interesting going on there for sure.
I think you and I have different definitions of interesting.
Listen, I understand that there's certainly something to. Here's me having a moment where I remember that I was like, Lance has a southern accent, and I haven't been doing that. And now I'm trying to decide whether I want to do that or not. But anyway, no, I understand. There's certainly something to be paying attention to about both of them. Pardon, I don't mean to be rude and say this in front of you, but I know that I've seen both of you in certain unexpected corners of the sphere, so I'm interested.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly paying attention to that dog.
Pork?
Is Lux in here with us, or did Lux go with?
Yeah, she's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, she looks at Lance, and she has recognized him.
Yeah.
she's just like, yes, I know, I've seen you before.
Yeah, certainly. You travel as much as the four of us do. I'm sure it's not all surprising.
Yeah. And so yeah, so what were you want to go on like what you were saying, like in front of, like right now in front of me too?
Oh, I mean, you just have an interesting energy to you. I want to know more. I want to find out what's underneath that mask.
I don't think you can just ask people what's underneath their mask, Lance.
I mean the metaphorical mask. You know, we're all wearing masks all the time. And Lance points to a black and white, like very plain porcelain mask that is tied to his waist. It's like split down the middle, so half of it's white, half of it's black. We're all wearing masks, that's the whole point, you know.
I'm not wearing a mask. I have fur. Masks are uncomfortable.
I mean the mask, the charade that we put up in public so that we can maintain our beautiful and inner self and as a private object.
You're going this again.
Lex just stands up as Lance is talking and gestures to Itzel because she feels like she needs to get him to walk around. So while Lance is going on, she just gets up, starts heading out.
Oh no.
Oh, are you going out for a constitutional? I might join you.
A what?
A stroll.
I don't take strolls, but sure.
Well, you will this evening. We'll do an arm hook.
No.
No. Lance, you can't just touch. Okay, never mind.
It's just this moment as Lance is like got Lux by the arm, like pulling her out of the room, and Lux looks over her shoulder at Kite, like pleading almost. I feel like
Kite is just straight up giving her the I don't know what to tell you. I don't have control in this situation.
She gives kind of a look that says, "Do you need help?"
He shakes his head.
Amazing. Yeah, so y'all find yourself on the deck. Cal, you headed out a little bit earlier, and you're one of the first folks to do so. Out on deck, there are several other folks as well, but the individual that catches your eye is a large turtle man who seems to have some kind of device that he's holding, and it is chittering and beeping away very noisily.
Cal inches closer to this individual, trying to like maybe suss out what it is that he has.
Sure, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Will do.
18. Nice. Yeah, you can definitely tell that the device that the turtle is wielding, it seems to be picking up on magical energy. Like you can see it's almost acting radar-esque, where it's sending off these pings and attempting to get back, like ping off of this magical energy that is like ambiently around. The turtle notices you looking at a device, and he looks over at you and he gives you like a big slow smile, and he goes, "Why, hello there, young man. Do you have any questions about my device?"
Yeah. What exactly are you? What are you looking for? You looking for treasure? Is there treasure about?
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm looking for the biggest treasure of all. Not gold or starlight. No, I'm looking for the big one.
The big boy?
The big one, you know. Yeah, you've heard the rumors, right? About the creatures that live out here on the astral border, the huge I don't know. There's legends, but I'm gonna be the first to find it.
Cal just kind of like looks at this man and are you talking about space whales?
No, boy, space whales are slim pickings. I'm talking about the big one. But you know, I've been rude. I'm witness of the sky, and he puts forward a turtly hand.
Oh, Yeah, I'm Cal. And he, takes his turtle hand, shakes it very politely.
It's old, like the hand is clearly like wrinkled and well worked, but like he's got a strong old man hand. And as you're shaking his hand, his turtle eyes look dead into yours and say, "I see a lot of myself in you. I can tell you're a dreamer as well."
Perhaps once, but sometimes you just grow out of those things. So you mind telling me what this big one is?
You never grow out of dreams. If I did, then I wouldn't be here. And he laughs to himself. Oh, I don't know. Just an old rumor that they had back on my home planet. They said that there was some large creature out here that would, I don't know, some kind of legend. I forget how it goes, but man, if you were to find that, you'd be the talk of the ionosphere. You would be the legendary researcher. Could you even imagine it? And he's like, you get the sense that he's kind of like almost talking for himself right now. He's like, he's lost in his own fantasy of this.
Cal smiles, and it's warm. And he says, I couldn't even fathom it. How, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh, time's weird out on these parts, but last I kept track, about 150.
A good life. It's a very long life. I hope you get to realize your dream.
He smiles back at you, matching your warmth, and he says, "Thank you. I hope you too, as well, can realize your dream."
Thanks. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to go see if I can spot a couple of, space whales.
He nods knowingly as you strut off. Lance and Lux, y'all are on the deck as well, kind of going out with the middle or so group of folks that have kind of gone up to stretch their legs, and you see several folks getting onto their Ioun stones, which displays like almost illusory images and articles for the people to peruse as you're walking about. And both of you going to make me perception checks as you do so. All right, perfect. 15 and 12. Lux and Lance, both of y'all see kind of in like the mirror image of this holographic or this illusory imagery. You see headlines popping up about a former assassination victim who had been resurrected. Lux, this is particularly of interest to you because you recognize the individual in question. They are the person that you last assassinated. And just by reading the reversed imagery, you can tell that this person has been resurrected by Lightbringer Medical Services. But the most distressing thing to you in this moment is you see that they have also included a sketch of the individual that committed the crime itself. And although it is you in your full cowl and getup, it is clearly you sketched in that image.
Lex takes note of this. Are there any Ioun stones that are like not being used that she can take? Or does everybody have their own that they're bringing out?
Sure. As you go to look, you do see that there are a couple of individuals who are like milling about, stretching their legs, walking to the edge of the deck to like look at the starry vista in front of you that aren't using their Ioun stones, but there are like you see their pockets bulging with them.
Pickpocket them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go in and roll me sleight of hand as you do so.
Okay.
13, yeah, you find somebody that you believe to be maybe their first voyage out into the astral sea. You can tell based on the gawked expression on their face as they're looking out into the infinite. And with the 13, it's no problem for you to pick this unsuspecting individual's pocket and grab one of the Ioun stones.
Okay. And then she's just going to go back inside. With Itzel.
Okay. What is Lance's reaction to all this?
So the poster has Lux on it? Like, sorry, where was the image of the sketch? Was that on an Ioun stone?
Yes, it was like it's being transmitted to a bunch of different Ioun stones in the general vicinity. It seems like this is hot news.
Definitely. I think that I will turn toe very quickly and follow Lux back inside. So I take it you were here on business?
Business. Sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Kite, who had like settled a little bit with like a book, is looking at you both now like, why the fuck are you back in here? It's fully like annoyed.
Yeah, would I have seen Lux pickpocketing a Ioun stone?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Definitely. Not great.
14. I'm gonna say you are maybe not a thief by nature and trade, but you are skilled in that art as well as just a member of the Mandelbrot set. So you definitely recognize when somebody gets fleeced.
Oh, definitely. Well, Lux, was it? Could I show Cal on that Ioun stone? Or Kite, sorry.
Oh. No.
Okay. Well,
You're stressing my dog out, sir.
I am? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's stressing me out.
Well, well, that's just fine. If you're going to stay in here, and I assume you're staying in here, I will let you have your little moment inside. I wish to go speak to Cal anyway, so I will leave you two in here. And Lance heads on out and goes to go look for Cal.
Kite is so confused.
Before I leave, that we're like in a little room, right? Like a little cabin.
Yeah.
When I close the door, can I cast Alarm?
Yeah, definitely.
So if anyone other than the four of us familiars, whatever, tries to enter or exit the room, I'll get a ping about it.
Great. And how long does the alarm last?
8 hours.
8 hours. Okay.
And I just have to be within a mile of the worded area.
Okay, good to know. Great. Yeah, Lance passes back through the door, and in doing so, casts the alarm on the surface of it, just as a precautionary measure. What is Kite's reaction to this new information or lack thereof?
He's kind of sitting there, and he scratches his head a little bit and looks at Lux, and looks at Itzel, and kind of like looks like he's contemplating asking again. And instead just kind of looks at Lux and is like, he's talkative.
She like gestures at the door. Yeah, I'm used to it.
Kite just kind of nods and looks back at his book or whatever that he has. I think at this point he's taken his like cloak off and it's like rolled up next to him. He's got his spell book sitting atop that, so that it's like not like hanging on his belt anymore. And he's just kind of like made himself like a little area where he can like sit and kind of study. Looks a little precarious though.
Is there another door that goes to another place?
No, it's a one-way door back and forth out to the sun deck.
And does Lex have any contact with the, people? The people.
With the Knights Accord?
Yeah.
With the people.
Usually you get your intel like through Itzel in some method. Usually Yura communicates with you through Itzel. That's part of the reason why she assigns the nature revenants to her top assassins, right? But you might be able to reach out to her with Itzel if so willing.
Are we speaking out loud in front of Kite, right?
You would be speaking out loud in front of Kite, though.
Okay.
Here I am. I'm not moving.
So what Lex does is she sits down, she pulls her hood up, and she starts like gesturing commands to Itzel to get him to like focus on her while she's trying to utilize this Ioun stone to fully look at the article and see exactly what's in there.
Yeah, this doesn't look suspicious at all.
No, not at all. Can I see that Ioun stone at all?
Are you like Lux? Are you purposefully? You're trying to like completely hide the Ioun stone from Kite, right?
Well, she's going to be looking like the opposite direction, so she's trying not to like obviously hide it, but like turn enough so that hopefully Kite won't exactly see it.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check, Lux. Kite going to make a perception check, which will contest this stealth.
19.
22.
It's close, but the way that Lux has like positioned herself and her cloak has just perfectly obfuscated the screen. Like you can see there's clearly some kind of information being displayed. Like you can see her face is glowing a little bit in the afterlight of that illusion. But what it says specifically, you can't make out.
Okay, but I can tell she's doing something over there.
Oh, definitely. Like her face is lit up like it would be if you were looking at like a screen, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a lot happening here. He's not saying anything about it, but he is definitely like taking note of it going on.
Amazing. I think we cut back to the outside of the ship onto the deck once more, and we see Lance finding Cal.
Decided to leave those two to their own devices. Privacy seems to run in the room a bit.
Oh, it's just Lux is a little bit of a stick in mud. She's fine once she gets to know you.
I understand. Kite is similar. Lovely, lovely companion to have by my side. However, it has taken a bit of a second to get used to each other.
How long have you two been traveling together?
I think somewhere near a year at this point, I would say.
It's quite a long time. How'd you two meet?
Oh, well, I had been traveling around at that point, as I am always traveling, and I picked him up at a refueling station. It was, just on my way through, found him hanging out.
Actually, Timbo, would Cal have been able to discern that Kite was some kind of nobility, possibly with the Billowing Mountains Regency?
Sure. Go ahead and make me a history check with disadvantage, because it's been a while since Cal's had anything to do with the Billowing Mountains.
History. Bloop.
9. While the Regency of the Bellowing Mountains is notably a feline bloodline, there are many Tabaxian cat folks that live in the Mistar system. So it's a little bit too broad of a category to make that level of determination, just from Kite being a cat.
That's fair.
What about you and Lux? You've been traveling together for long?
Traveling together is... It sure is one way you could put it. It's more like she's tailing me, but she's trying to act like she's not tailing me. And it's been going on for a little while now.
Definitely. Did you do something to end up in her sights, you think?
Not that I could think of. The only thing I could have done is possibly lent a helping hand. But I don't think that's enough reason to start following someone around.
You're appearing a little too suspicious, you think? By being just too terribly helpful?
You know, maybe. Just maybe. Then again, from what I've noticed from her, it seems like maybe she hasn't had that much kindness in her life. He shrugs.
Has anyone been reacting to... this is a character question. Like, in observing people since those notifications started popping up, has anything changed on deck tempo?
Yeah, it is maybe a little bit imperceptible at first, but Lance knows people fairly well, and he's pretty good at picking up on temperament. And you definitely can feel that the vibe on the ship has changed a little bit. Like, there's definitely a little bit of tension going on that didn't feel like it was there during the boarding.
This may be an interesting question. I don't know. I don't think I have like detect magic or anything, but like, does it feel like a normal tension of just like, oh, there's a killer, or like magical tension? If that, like, if something about the Ioun stones is affecting them.
Gotcha. No, it just feels like regular tension that they're this person who was assassinated, they're back, and they've got the killer in their sights now, and it had been a very mysterious murder to have happened, and now that there's this clue, maybe they'll be able to catch them, and so people are like talking about it, but it's also like, you know, putting a face to a killer has kind of made people a little on edge for sure.
Definitely. I look at Cal and think about what he just said and go, well, if there is any kindness that I can help add, you might want to check in on your traveling companion. Some alarming news seems to have reached the ship, and we might need to think about maybe wardrobe change. I could definitely help with that, but you know, something to help disguise her a bit.
So as you say that, Lance,
fuck.
There is a sound that permeates the space, and one both you and Cal recognize very vividly, which is the sound of a spelljamming vessel dropping out of warp, basically, and appearing. And it's kind of a very distinctive, like, pop noise. And as that pop noise goes off, you look over the bow of the ship, and you see a large vessel making its way towards the
crepuscular ray. Yeah.
Towards the crepuscular ray. Thank you. It is quite a large ship. It looks it's bigger than the ray itself, and the siding of it it almost appears to be glowing in a similar way that the hard light rail is glowing. The ship itself almost appears to be made out of hard light, and it is a deep blue in color. And it quickly pulls up to the side of the crepuscular ray, and from a amplified magical voice, you hear a strong commanding voice say, "You there, crepuscular ray, cease all engine firing and stop before you enter into that asteroid field. There is a dangerous fugitive that has been reportedly seen aboard your ship. Surrender that fugitive. They are very dangerous." There's immediately buzzing aboard the ship. People are talking immediately as the ship slows to a stop just on the edge of an asteroid field.
Can we hear this inside the room as well?
Oh, yes. It is being magically broadcast to every point of the ship.
Kite casts mage armor on himself.
What does that look like?
So, yeah, I guess Lux would see this. Lux and Itzel would see this. Kite kind of shifts immediately attaches his spell book back to his thigh, and then slips a wand that is kind of this like long, nice wooden pen, and then the end has like a nice like metal pen tip to it. But he slips the wand out, and he draws on one of his paws a little like X, and you see this kind of just immediate like temporary kind of purplish glow kind of form over him and then like settle almost into his fur, and then he throws his cloak back on top of that and acts like everything is perfectly normal and fine.
Amazing. What is Lux's reaction to hearing this and then seeing Kite cast mage armor on himself?
She has her stuff with her that isn't magic, right?
Yeah. Basically, I'm thinking that if you didn't say that you were putting it into the cargo hold, you've got it.
Okay. So she does have a disguise kit. Can she utilize that very quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. Digging through this disguise kit, you have all kinds of pieces of kit and gear that you can utilize. Go ahead and make me a disguise kit check, but you can use either charisma or intelligence in this role.
Okay, I'm gonna use intelligence. Is that an ability? Would that be considered a ability check that uses a skill? Because I do have a skill for that.
I'm gonna say yes. Go ahead and let it rip with your skill.
Okay, so it's knowledge from a past life, where you temporarily remember glimpses of the past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago or previous life. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add the number on the d6 to the check. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Yeah, I think that would definitely apply here. Go for it.
Okay. So it's 14 then.
Nice. Yeah, you initially like looking through your disguise kit, you pulled on some garments and threw in a little bit of makeup here and there, but you didn't feel very confident in it initially. But as you kind of like, you have that moment that doesn't happen all the time. You fall back into yourself. You fall back into your memories, which is almost a little bit like a door that opens and closes that you don't have control over all of the time. But in this moment, maybe it's the panic, or maybe it's the focus, or maybe it's both. The door opens for you, and you have a very strong memory of a man telling you, "Oh yeah, and if you're ever caught like doing something wrong and you need a quick disguise, you can always just turn your clothes inside out and nobody ever sees it coming." And he gives you a wink, and you feel yourself in the memory laugh at that, which is a very surreal sensation to your present self. And then it's like snap, you're back in the present, in the moment. You see like some of your clothes actually might work better as a disguise inverted and flipped inside out, and so you just quickly do so as this is going on. Kite, what is your reaction to seeing Lux pull out like a huge bag of disguises and just start to don themselves and change their outfit?
I think Kite puts 2 and 2 together on that one. He's like, okay, well, she obviously thinks this is about her. But I think he's a little bit more concerned with finding Lance at the moment. So I don't think he like really does anything about it. He just kind of looks at her and is like, there's a magic item for that. It's just a hat. Might be better next time. And he walks out of the room.
Can she try to block him?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you can. He's like 5'4". He's not.
But also, Lux is short too, isn't she?
Yeah, she's shorter than he is.
They're both short.
I was like,
oh no, that's so
Cal
funny.
and Lance are tall, and then it's the 2 shorties in the car together.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Also, I looked at my character sheet. Cal is 6'5". My bad.
Okay.
So Kite goes towards the door, and Lux steps in front of him.
She's gonna try, yeah.
Lux steps in front of Kite, her full 5'2" stature, intimidating. Kite was up to his full 5'4" stature, directly next to her.
He's not used to looking down at people, like to meet their eyes. So he kind of looks at you and is like, "What?"
She just looks at him and she's just like, "Yeah, you're not leaving."
Why?
Wow.
She just takes a moment. She just stares him down. She's just like, "It'd be a shame if I had to kill you if you said anything."
Wow.
I just told you how to disguise yourself better. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't even know if this is about you. I need to go find my friend. Aren't you concerned?
Your friend will come back.
What?
Wow.
As Lux says, your friend's going to come back. You feel the ship shake underneath you as something makes impact with it. Back on the deck, Lance and Cal, you see that large hook shots have fired off from this glowing prismatic vessel into the side of the crepuscular ray and have dug in and attached themselves. And you see individuals dressed in similar to the ship itself, in this hard light blue armor, like begin to float out and come down these railings. You recognize both of you, because y'all are fairly well versed in the different security systems of the different planets. You recognize these individuals as Prism troops, who are the private security force of the Lathander Corporation, Lightbringer Medical Services. And you know that the quality of the guard ranges from on the light spectrum. So red is going to be the lower level individuals who, do general containment and that kind of stuff, all the way up to the violets and the ultraviolets who do black ops, what works and such. So the fact that you're dealing with blue Prism Corps members is these are some of the bigger guns that have been sent out here. But it's not just them. As the blue prism begin to advance towards your ship, you also see, almost as if a sun is being born out the side of the vessel, you see a man stride out into space, large, glowing, hard light, angelic wings stretching out from his back, his entire body glowing in this plated armor that almost appears to just be radiating light. He is incredibly handsome with a chiseled jaw and just $1 million smile. And the armor is gold and opulent and incredibly gaudy with just huge fucking diamonds and shit plastered into it. And again, both you, Cal and Lance, you recognize this man. He is the champion of medical service, the Clara Soul. And they begin to float over towards the vessel.
Inside? To Cal. Shall we go now inside?
It's probably a good idea. Overboard as usual.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, look at me. I'm the Clara Soul. Hey.
Yeah, we'll try to make our way down inside. Do we feel like we need to be stealthy about heading inside, or like they haven't gotten to the ship yet?
They're on their way over, but it's a little bit of chaos on the deck. Mixes of like fear, adoration, confusion. It's a chaotic moment on the deck. And you make your way. It's easy enough for y'all to slip back to the dimension door though and get through.
So we do have a bit of a problem. I'm sure you've both gathered at this point.
Wait, don't we walk into them basically being in a standoff?
At the door. Yeah, we open the door and it swings into them.
Yeah. Tiny little standoff.
Yeah.
I think more specifically what you come into is Kite having tried to zip past Lux, and Lux being probably too fast for him.
Yeah. And then there's just two giant people on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Kind of like usher you both back in, and we get the door closed.
Kite like pulls away from Lux and just dusts himself off a little bit. He's all fluffed up. He's annoyed.
Told you.
He says, "Told you."
I see you two have been getting acquainted.
That's a word you could use.
It's a word I did use.
What's going on?
You know,
Just trying to look for like stuff around the room where she could possibly escape, or a possible other entryway that could be hidden somewhere.
How's your disguise looking?
I mean, it's fine, right? Like, it's fine.
Like, what is what does Lux currently look like, having disguised herself?
She's probably got her hair like back or something, and she's got like some of her clothes have been kind of like fashioned like inside out to be other articles of clothing mixed with some stuff with her disguise kit. So it's probably something much looser.
Definitely. How do we feel vis-a-vis this fooling the Prism Troopers, Blue Division, and the Champion of Lathander dealing with this sort of situation? How do we feel about our situation? I'm now saying we, for some reason, we are currently in.
Why are you including us in this? We could just leave and not be involved.
could you?
We could just leave, but come on, Lightbringer, absolute scum.
I mean, you're not wrong, probably. I don't know much about him.
Also, who's to say that he's here for Lux? What if he's here for you two?
Certainly. Lux, why don't you show Cal here the lovely little notification we saw?
In the middle of Lance saying that, she tosses the Ioun stone back without looking.
Who's it hit in the head?
Yeah, I grab it, I guess. Do I need to roll for
She
that,
just
Timbo?
throws it.
Yeah, going to make me a roll to see if you can catch it out of the air. Going to make me like a deck save, yeah.
Not proficient
Oh my
in this, so this is a
gosh.
+1. A 14?
14's pretty good. I'm gonna say you kind of see Lux going for the motion, and you're able to intercept it just as it would clatter against the ground.
Yeah, just like a little tiny puff of air right at the end to soften the blow a little bit. My hands are very soft, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Oh my god.
And I pull up the notice about the successful then failed assassination attempt of a Lightbringer Medical Services executive. Executive, right?
Yes.
Kite's just like, okay, so this is about her.
Cal just goes, I told you about killing people, dude.
I told you about killing people.
Kite is looking at Cal right now. That's it. That's the whole statement.
That's fair. You can't just kill people, bro.
And knock out the lights in the car.
Nice. Wonderful.
Yeah, lovely. So that puts us in the dark. It does nothing else.
Are they checking cars at this point, Timbo? In cabins?
As you are wondering that, you do feel like the rock as jackboots hit the ground of the ship. But there's something else happening as well. Everybody going to make me perception checks.
I love this already.
Oh no.
Oh. 9.
13.
Love it here.
Oh no. Oh no, guys.
How does this happen? How does this happen?
So Lux and Kite, y'all are feeling the ground rock underneath you as the jackboots mount this ship as they board. And you see out this funny window that you've had as your companion in this room this whole time. You look out and you see it's pointed towards the asteroid field in this moment. And as you do so, you see a vessel actually come out from the shadow of one of the asteroids. This vessel appears to be warped and twisted. It doesn't look like any spelljamming vessel that you've ever seen before, Kite, and in fact, it doesn't look like it should be able to function. It's missing large sections of it, as well as pieces of it have been almost like stitched together with a strange mass that you don't recognize, neither of you recognize. And it very quickly moves up from this shadowy asteroid field and towards the crepuscular ray and the prism vessel.
Kite will kind of like take note of all of the ways that it should not be flying. And he kind of turns to Lance and is like, that doesn't look official.
Certainly not. It hardly looks functional.
Lance, as you look at it, go ahead and make me a history check.
History.
Same with Cal, if he looks as well.
Okay.
Ugh,
Will do.
and
Oh no.
Yes. Okay, so both you and Cal, both Lance and Cal, you recognize that maybe from interactions in your own time, or maybe just from stories heard from survivors, you recognize this as a ship of the discorrelation.
oh,
Basically, people who have gone into the astral sea without sufficient food and drink, even though it doesn't require you to eat, it takes a mental toll on you if you don't do so. And this was discovered during the First Corporate War, where people tried to have shoestring budgets and not feed their soldiers, and they ended up losing large battalions to space madness, which they called the discorrelation. And you recognize this as a discorrelation ship.
that would explain the reason it is functioning without necessarily looking like it should be, and it's because it shouldn't be working. We are in more trouble than I was intending for today.
Oh, absolutely.
You were intending for us to be in trouble?
You always should intend to be in trouble at least a little bit. Otherwise would be foolish.
Intend means something different than expect. You know that, right? It's important to me that you know that.
Of course I know that. I choose to ignore it.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
How is Itzel right now? Is Itzel okay?
I think Itzel is feeding on the general energy of the room in this moment and is starting to fluctuate slightly. You see that they have reversed the half-centimeter shrink and have grown a full centimeter in the opposite direction. They're a little bit bigger now.
Great.
Is that normal for him?
Cal, can you do the thing? And she's just like, as soon as that, Itzel, while she's still looking.
I was like, do the
Pet him.
It's gonna be okay, buddy. Oh, it's all right. He's just like gently rubbing Itzel's back.
Why is this the priority right now? I have questions. I don't think I want answers to them. But I am confused.
Out of the window, you see that the discorrelation vessel has picked up speed and is on definitely an intercept course with either the crepuscular ray or the Lathander ship.
Definitely. I don't know if I had any kind of feeling this felt like a normal day. Can I tell anything in terms of like the discorrelation showing up feels like a big deal? Have I noticed anything about ship today that feels off?
What's off with the ship?
I'm going to say I don't think that you have picked up on anything like that. It seems like this has been a fairly normal voyage so far. Like you haven't, usually it's fairly obvious to tell when people have gone through stages of discorrelation.
Yeah.
And you didn't pick up on any of that. But you do know that you're kind of reaching and heading towards the edge of the frontier, and it's more likely, discorrelation is more likely to occur outside of civilization.
Gotcha. Definitely.
Though whether or not that's just a corporate piece of propaganda or not to keep people from going to the frontier en masse, or whether or not there's an edge of truth to that,
Definitely.
Kite is gonna look at Lance and say, I don't know what we're about to get into, but I think this might be helpful. And he is going to just touch them gently on the arm and cast Gift of Alacrity on him.
Okay.
And then it's for the duration, the target can add 1d8 to its initiative rolls.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And I will look at the other 3 and I will cast Aid on them. Your maximum hit point increases by 5 for the duration, which is for the next 8 hours. And so you also gain 5, like whatever. You get the 5 increase to the max, but you also gain 5, so you're at your max. And all 3 of you will have that benefit.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's Lightbringer Medical Service. There's also Discorrelation. Is there any, like, as we're looking around, do we see anyone else breaching into the space?
Everybody go ahead and make perception checks.
No!
Hey!
Oh, a dirty 20.
Let's go!
I'm rolling physical dice. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. So everybody who rolled above a 20, Lux and Lance, as you're watching that discorrelation ship, which again, still picking up speed, and it definitely is going, it looks like they're going for a collision course at this point. You see in the makeup of the astral sea behind it, in the glowing nebula and the effervescent gas that appears there, you see almost imperceptibly a ripple, like a drop in a lake.
Oh, there's so much happening.
But that's it.
Have I seen that before?
Nope, none of you have seen that before.
Cal is entirely too busy petting and talking to Itzel. Like, literally, while all this is happening, he's just like, who's a good boy? You're a good boy. It's gonna be okay.
Okay. We have troopers, champion, discorrelation, something on the horizon. Let's see, the other one was Lux. Al or Kite, does that mean anything to you? And I like point out on where the horizon would be so you can see that shape.
Does it mean anything to Kite?
Cal and Kite, you do not see it if Lance points it out to you. It's gone by the time he's done so.
Yeah, Cal looks up. Huh?
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Kite's like what? What are you?
Ripple or something.
In terms of this ship, like, do we have a feeling of like upper and lower decks? Like there are levels below us, or is it pretty contained? You know.
The boat is pretty small, this vessel. It really, other than this like extra dimensional holding space for guests, it feels like the hold and the pilot's cabin are really the only other places, like physical places on the ship. It's pretty small.
Have the Prism troopers noticed the discorrelation ship?
No, in fact, as you hear, like, again, that magically amplified voice permeate the room and say, "We know you're in here. Give up. There's no need to hide. Surrender to Lightbringer, and your punishment will be just and swift."
Cal rolls his eyes, but you can see that he is still very much trying to console Itzel.
Itzel is currently doing that thing that nervous dogs do when they're like a little scared or anxious, and they're like just like doing a little shake, like nervous dog shake.
Oh, it's okay, buddy.
You do feel like he's calming down though as you're petting him, Cal.
Kite is gonna go to the door, is going to let it open just a little bit and send Doldrum through it, and then try and get him to kind of get her to like float around on the ship and see what she sees. just being a space guppy floating around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You use Doldrum as a little bit of for a little bit of recon. Doldrum, she, her?
Yes, Doldrum, she, her.
So she sees quite the sights. There are many of these folks, most of the people who are on the sun deck waiting for or stretching their legs and taking the opportunity. They've been not detained, but it looks like they're being processed by the Prism agents, and they look like they're looking at each individual and like they're holding up an illusory image and comparing and contrasting between the individual. However, Doldrum is unable to make out the image in particular that they are using to reference.
Okay.
Ooh.
And Doldrum is also outside the ship when the discorrelation vessel connects with the Prism ship and collides with it in a loud, cacophonous banging noise. The Prism ship is pulled asunder from the crepusculous ray, and the grappled lines rip and tear out of the side of the ship, and it goes spinning off into the void. The Prism agents and the Clarisol all turn shocked as this happens, and you hear a low, loud scream begin to emanate from the discorrelation vessel as flooding out are these warped humanoid individuals, their proportions different and strange and inhuman as they begin to just pour out of the holes in the discorrelation vessel, swarming into the Prism ship and attempting to bridge the gap of the void between it and the crepuscular ray. Explosions rock the frame of the ship as multiple detonations occur inside both the Prism and the discorrelation ship as the somewhat temperamental fuel sources become reactive and start to ignite. The discorrelation seem to pay it no heed as their ship breaks down, as well as the Prism one, as they just begin to storm the crepuscular ray. You see the Prism troops who had their hands on their weapons all go to draw them. Several of them are wielding what appears to be firearms with glowing blue crystals attached to them and sticking out of them at various angles. No two weapon looking unique, while others draw light blades that at the press of a button on the hilt of it extend out into this large glowing blue saber, and they, as kind of one, leap off the edge and begin to float in the general direction of the discorrelation, attempting to cut them off. The Clarisol is kind of standing there a little bit dumbfounded, not doing anything and looking especially stupid. Everybody go ahead and roll for initiative.
Oh, God.
And I can add a D8 to this?
Yes.
I got a 10.
Try and be helpful.
I mean, hey.
This is fucking stupid.
What is your initiative? Cal, the Dom.
What's my modifier, or what did I roll?
What's your modifier?
It's a +8.
A +8?
So is mine. We're matched. Did we both take that one feat?
I took alert.
I took observant. So I don't know why is my initiative so high?
What's going on, bud?
I don't know.
I think it might be a chronergy thing.
I think it is.
This is absurd. I love it.
Alrighty, great. That's going to put us at the top of the round. So, Cal, you see all of this going on as y'all come out of the doorway onto the deck proper. You see civilians kind of beginning to panic as the discorrelation begin to move forward towards the ship. The explosions sending shockwaves and reverberations through the airs, and many people are screaming in response. And you've seen this kind of situation before. Civilians don't necessarily do very well against active, dangerous situations, and you begin to sense people panicking. You also see on board the ship there is a small security detail on board the crepuscular ray. However, they look to be fairly small, and you see them move forward towards the railing in like a defensive formation. What do you do?
The discoloration vessel. Which vessel did they crash into again? Did they crash into the Prism ship?
Yes, the discorrelation vessel crashed into the Prism ship. Yes.
How far is the Clarisol from me right now?
He's kind of hovering like 10 feet or so above the deck, his hard light wings like kind of flapping idly as he's kind of just like looking at the ship he was on, like going down hard.
Gotcha. Cal is going to fire a shot right past the Clarisol's head to get his attention.
Sure, yeah, the gunfire cracks off, just whizzing past his ear, maybe trimming a few golden hairs off of his what would have been an immaculate coif, and you see his face snap down to you.
Hey, hi, hey. Cal like waves at him. He's like, so, if you want your men and all of these people to survive, we gotta move like now. So, could you maybe like get your people off of that vessel onto this vessel, and we can just kind of like move. Just skedaddle.
The Clarsoul is looking down at you, but you see in his eyes he is a million light years away. Like he does not look present in this moment. But at the end of what you say, as you finish speaking, you see his eyes focus in on your face, and you see him snap around. He says, retreat? Never. The Clarsoul never backs down from a fight. Men at arms, he says kind of impotently, as they've already kind of rushed forward, as he kind of like almost like has been brought back to reality a little bit.
Hey, buddy, no, like, please, now is so not the time for like this bravado. Like, people can get hurt, people could die. We can just avoid all of this. Hey, I know you can hear me.
Go ahead and use a bonus action to make a persuasion check.
Sure. Persuasion. Incredible. 0 charisma. Let's fucking go.
Amazing. With the natural 20, the Clarsoul looks down at you, and when you look up at him, you see in his face that he is scared right now. Past the fake bravado, you see fear in his eyes. And as you say this to him, he said you can like see him internally conflicted in this moment. And then the Prism soldiers and the discorrelation clash, and the screams of their men start to fill the air, and what little color was left in his face begins to drain further. You see him snap his gaze away from yours, and you hear him shout in that magically amplified voice, the way that he'd been speaking into the ship previously. You hear him say, "Prism soldiers, retreat to the crepuscular ray. We must evacuate as quickly as possible." As he gives his commands, you see the Prism soldiers again, like kind of halt in their movement forward and begin to slow. So that would have been your bonus action, and maybe like a little bit of movement. Anything else you'd like to do?
Cal is just quickly surveying the immediate area on the crepuscular ray to see if there are any like injured civilians or anybody that needs help.
Sure, yeah. You do see a few people have been like knocked over from the ripple effect that happened when the Radiant Vision, the Prism ship, when it exploded and detached the grapplers from the crepuscular ray. So you see like a few people have fallen over. Some people have like injured themselves and hit themselves pretty badly on some of the harder ship parts.
Is there any like rope or anything around me?
Sure, yeah. There is a stockpile of rope near you. Yeah, yes. There's rope.
Cal is going to like grab that rope and like run over to the edge of the railing and try and toss it out to any people that may have like fallen overboard, who are like maybe a little bit lower. And if there's like anybody that's like just immediately hanging from like the rails on the deck, he's going to like try and start pulling them up.
Yeah, you do. As you throw the rope over, you do see that it seems like a few passengers have been knocked off the ship, and they've been following that kind of sinusoidal motion of of following back and forth through the gravity plane, and they quickly grab onto the rope and begin to pull themselves up as you also like move forward and begin to check the rest of the sides of the vessel for more people who may have fallen overboard. Excellent. That's going to be it for Kite. What are you doing?
So, quick point of order question. So, there's the ship that docked us with the angel on it.
That's the prism.
That's the prism. And then there's the crepuscular ship where all of the creepy humanoids are coming out of.
No, that's us.
But we're the crepuscular.
Crepuscular ray is like it's a weather phenomenon that when you can actually see like the ray of sunlight, that's a crepuscular ray. Sounds like a gross word, which you would associate with the discorrelation, but it's not. It's a beauty of nature.
So, okay, the discorrelation is what I'm thinking of. Can I see, like, is it clear, like, how the discorrelation is, like, holding onto that other ship? Or, like, is there a way that I could potentially, like, see where the ships are attached to each other that I could try to break it away, like a weak point?
Not so much, because it's less like they've attached themselves with ropes or bindings or anything like that, and more like they've simply crashed into the ship, and there are no two ships anymore. There is just one mess.
Okay, but that's the decorrelation and the prism that are just a mess?
Yes.
Is there a way that the prism was connected to the crepuscular?
There were these like grappling hooks that had been dug into the crepuscular side, but those disconnected when the discorrelation ship collided with it.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought it was more imminently like still trying to like come closer to us.
No, but the people that were on the discorrelation ship are kind of flooding out of it and heading towards you all.
Okay, right where they're flooding out of, I want to cast Magnify Gravity.
Awesome. Can you post Magnify Gravity?
So it's a 10-foot sphere, and they all need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Foot radius.
Yes, sorry, 10-foot radius.
Okay, so that's quite large.
Yeah, it's a 20-foot diameter. I don't know why they do everything in radii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have questions. Just tell me the full size.
Nice. They are flooding out of multiple points and breaches of the hull, but you definitely feel like you can cover one entire breach with that altered gravity.
Yeah, whichever one is closest to us. And anyone who fails is going to take 8, and anyone who succeeds is going to take 4 something damage.
Sure. I'm just going to go ahead and roll one group roll. So all of the ones coming out of that door, that gateway, that opening in space in the ship fail. And which direction did you point the gravity? Are you attempting to eject them out of like their jammer's gravity field? Yeah,
let's go with that. Yeah, I'm attempting to eject them out, and then they take 8 damage, and then their speed is reduced by half. Yeah, it's halved until the end of its next turn.
I'm going to say, because I don't feel like calculating how big the gravity plane is on the ship, I'm going to say that the 10-foot radius sphere, which is a 20-foot diameter, so you give them 20 feet of momentum upward, basically, as you eject them, like almost cannon-esque, out of the ship, and like launching them up into the gravity plane. They go flying kind of off into the astral sea. You see them battered and bruised from this, and they are limp. They are not moving from this force damage. It seems like it broke enough in their already corrupted forms that it was enough to finish the job, and they just float off into the astral sea, projected by this energy of your gravity wave.
Cool. Once he does that, he kind of turns back to the group and is like, "What are we doing from here? Where are we going? There's too many of them." But that's it.
Beautiful. That is going to make it discorrelation. The discorrelation continue their rapid ascent towards the the ship that y'all are on. And why did I make the ship such a difficult name to say for myself? What's wrong with me?
You're in control, Timbo.
It could just be the ray.
Just the ray. Yeah,
the ray.
They head towards the ray, and And you, as they kind of move a little bit closer and you can make out more fine-tuned details, they just appear to be warped and beyond like recognition. Their body and limbs stretched and tweaked to be just still clearly, at least at once was human, but just wrong as they've been warped by the astral sea. Several of them have appendages that once would have been a hand or a leg end in a blade-like point, and you see them move up towards the front guard of the prisms that had been initially moving back towards their ship before giving the order to retreat. They are the first to be encroached upon, and the blades of the discorrelation find their mark as they cut into several of the prism soldiers. The prism soldiers like take a few nicks, and like their hard light armor like begins to immediately fill in the gaps that had been cut by these bony blades. But you can see rivulets of blood floating in the astral sea with them as they continue to retreat back to the Ray. That is going to make it Lux's turn.
Right now, the group is on the sun deck.
Yes, y'all are out on the sun deck together.
Okay, and then so we have the discorrelation. Have they landed on the ship yet?
No, they're about halfway.
About halfway. Okay. Are there emergency like escape pods?
Unfortunately not. Due to its shoestring budget, did not have the ability to have such safety protocol.
Oh my god.
But they figured they would just pay the fine, at the end of the year.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm angry.
Mhm.
Is there anything like connecting? Actually, hold on. Is Clarisol a target
What do you mean?
of the Knights Accord?
Oh, definitely. He would be considered one of the most dangerous and also, as a result, one of the most high valuable targets. But you would also know that he's probably in a different weight category than you are. Like, this would be somebody that Yira would talk about wanting to handle personally, for example.
Interesting. So this would be a prime time to try to contact her then. In the fucking.
Really?
Sorry, I'm just wondering.
I mean, that's your determination to make.
100%. Your choice to make. But also, word?
I mean, what am I also going to do? I can't like fly across space to the other ship, so
Well, okay. So to be fair, there is like you can move over under your own control in the astral sea, which is where you are currently.
Okay, so I can. Okay.
Yeah, you can move an amount of distance equal to your, I believe, intelligence modifier times 5, like just by flying. Like you literally can just take off.
I could hop on over there.
Yeah, you could totally like jump off the side of the bow and float off. Absolutely.
Can I sneak attack in the astral sea?
Yeah, as long as you are fulfilling the other properties of sneak attack, which I believe is either you're either unseen or you have an ally within 5 feet of the target, something like that.
5 feet of the target.
I mean, I'm not.
No, I don't think any of your friends are. But if you wanted to, you could use a bonus action to hide first. You would roll a stealth check, and if it was higher than the target's passive perception, then you would become hidden to them, and then you could fire, and you would get the benefit of sneak attack if you were to hit.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Sounds great. Go ahead and roll a stealth roll.
Are you trying to assassinate this guy right now?
No,
Oh, okay.
Assassinate a different guy.
a different guy.
So you are trying to assassinate someone if you want.
Incredible.
Well, I'm trying. There are people attacking. What do you want me to do?
A 12? Yeah. You kind of secrete yourself onto the deck using, this is less like you hiding behind something and more like you using a social situation and the panic of the crew to secret yourself into into just the people's blind spot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Perfect. So what do you do next?
So then I would like to cross over and do a sneak attack.
Yeah, who do you want to sneak attack?
What are my options?
Well, the discorrelation are kind of coming across the gap towards you all. There are some civilians aboard the ship as well. There's also your friends, but I don't think you want to attack any of them.
No.
There's the guards on the ship.
Discorrelation then.
This correlation are about 60 some odd feet away from y'all. The prism ship was about 120. So if you have a knife, I think that's your long range distance for it. You might also have a crossbow. I'm not, or a regular bow.
No, I got 2 daggers and I got a scimitar.
Do you think it would make sense for Lux to have a crossbow or a bow or something like that?
Probably. Honestly, for long range, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are level 4, so yeah, let's just go ahead and give you a crossbow.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Do you want a heavy or a light crossbow? Or can you only use a heavy one? Or a light one, rather?
And you get a crossbow. And you get a crossbow.
Everybody gets a crossbow!
Everybody gets a crossbow.
That's a great question. I have no idea.
You're only proficient with hand crossbows, so we'll go ahead and hook you up with one of those bad boys.
Okay.
Little hand crossbow action.
A little
Which
guy.
is very, very rogue.
Yeah. Abso-fucking-lily. Time to die. All right.
Don't say it like that.
Oh no.
Rough, buddy.
Oh god.
So I think because the with the discorrelation being 60 feet away from you, you are that is outside of your normal range, so that would be at disadvantage. But because you hid, you have advantage, which cancels out the disadvantage, so it's just an 8, which unfortunately kind of pings off this kind of chitinous, bony layer of flesh on the discorrelation's form of the one that you were targeting, of the dozen or so discorrelated individuals that are coming aboard. Anything more for you, Lux?
Can't sneak attack with my hand crossbow.
Ba-dum-bum.
I guess not. I can't sneak attack then no.
If you were to hit, you would have been able to use your sneak attack.
Damn it. Okay, yeah. So yeah, no, it's just bad. Did I even make it out? No, I don't make it over there. Did I? I'm still on the same ship, right? Or did I make it over there?
Did you jump off the edge?
I was hoping to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that part. Yeah. What's your intelligence modifier?
1.
1. Okay. So you are a fairly slow mover in space without any additional. Actually, let me double check the movement speed. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get this part wrong. This part's kind of important.
Timbo just reading. Enough movement to kill players in 1 turn.
I'm done. That's it. That's the end. She was great. Everybody, it's already playing her for.
Oh, it's 5 times intelligence score, not modifier. So
5
what's
times
your
intelligence score?
Score, yes.
Yo.
She's 13.
Christ!
What?
What is it? 17?
She's 13.
So
13? Okay.
65.
So you can move 65 feet. So you can totally make it. You can make it within regular range, which would put you back at advantage if you want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I want to do up there.
Okay, great. We'll just leave it at that 19 then. I'll go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah.
Using the chaos of the boarding party, you very coolly leap over the edge, kind of tumble over the side, out of sight, just in that perfect moment when everybody's looked away. And as you float over, like your training taking hold, as you float through the ether, you line up the shot and fire, hitting the discorrelated person. Go ahead and roll that damage with sneak attack.
Okay, that and then I just click it again for that. Oh, there you go. There it is.
Oh yeah, we got it set up in such a way that you can just hit the attack roll and it will automatically roll sneak if it's applicable.
Okay, cool.
But we'll take the first sneak roll. So 6 points of sneak damage and 10 points of piercing. You blow this discorrelated person away. Like you hit him right in the spinal cord and you see him fall limp in the astral ether as he dies.
Go. I guess that's it. Yeah.
That's it for Lux. Excellent. That is going to make it Lance's turn.
Lance is going to cast Blur on himself, and his edges sort of start to become a little pixelated around the edge, kind of. Instead of just like a classic blur, it's kind of like a little geometric blur around him. And then as a bonus action, actually, I'm just going to start moving forward closer to the discorrelation. And Lady shares a initiative with me on for her stuff, for her bonus action. Lance will go, Miss Lady, could you augment? And she goes from the size of like a Barbie to like a toddler on my shoulders. So she is now size small instead of size tiny.
Mole.
Are you giving her like a piggyback ride?
She's fully sitting on my shoulders right now.
I love that.
And I will move 30 feet forward towards the discorrelation.
Great. You also jump off the edge?
Ooh, that's a great point, actually.
Because, I mean, at this point, like, since we're in the Astral Sea, I don't really see any reason not to use your Astral Sea movement speed instead of your regular movement speed. Because why would you walk when you could fly and it's way faster?
Yeah. And that's 5 times dexterity?
5 times intelligence.
Intelligence. Oh, wow. So I have a 16 in intelligence.
Holy shit, you can motor.
That is 50, that is 80 feet of movement. So yeah, we'll jump off the edge and fucking start zooming on down.
Zooming.
Yeah, I mean, you could get all the way up to the front guard from where the prism are like encountering the discorrelation and trying to retreat from. That's about 60 feet out. I believe Lux went about halfway, right? About 30 feet in order to be within range. So Lux is about a quarter of the way back. How far about do you go?
I'll sidle up next to Lux and I'll pull out, Lance has a sickle that has a gilded edge and it's a pink tourmaline sickle. He whips out and is standing next to Lux.
Badass. What's Lux's reaction as Lance kind of sidles up next to you?
She glances over at him and she's just like, never thought there'd be a day where we'd actually work together.
Ma'am, you just met him. What do you mean?
Not technically.
Oh no,
Oh,
we have run into each other many times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our circles intertwine sometimes.
Our circles definitely overlap, and we have avoided working together for a long time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think the only one who doesn't have like major connections is Kite.
In a universe this vast, it's only a matter of probability, my dear. He laughs as he kind of warms up a little bit, swings his scythe around.
Amazing. And that's going to put us at the top of the initiative round. Everybody go ahead and roll for perception.
Yay.
See them run away.
This is what we love.
These rolls today, you guys. I'm going to change my dice.
19.
Kite, you're the only one that catches this time.
Seriously?
You see that same ripple of space that had been mentioned a little bit, but you had not caught before. You see it happen, although this looks like it's much closer than what the other two had mentioned previously.
Is it recognizable to Kite in any way? Like, has he seen something like this before?
Because it's you asking, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Ooh.
Oh man, I always roll bad when I'm like actually doing something I'm good at, so let's hope for the best.
I hope the best.
Okay. That's a 17 plus 7?
24.
24.
The ripples that you're seeing in space, you recognize them as not ripples in the gas or the nebula, but actual ripples in space. Like in the fabric of reality, you are seeing it warp in front of your vision. And you can tell because the light is shifting in such a way that wouldn't be imperceptible to anybody else that hasn't been trained in Arcana and to recognize the lensing effect of magic, heavy magical energy. And you see a ripple effect so big that it shouldn't be possible. Not without there being a planet-sized reactor in the vicinity. And if there were a planet-sized reactor in the vicinity, the Bellowing Mountains would know about it, and you would probably have known about it.
Okay. Oh boy. Like, would I know like what that's indicative of? Like what it would be doing? Or do I just know that there is a reactor around causing this ripple, potentially? Or something causing this ripple?
You know that there is something causing this to occur, but what it would say, other than like you said, a planet-sized reactor, it you have no idea. Like, and if it were that, it would be visible.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh no.
Kite is gonna look towards Lance and be like, we can't stay here. We need to go. We need to go.
I think we're all on the same page. However, a ship has not presented itself.
Well, something is coming, and that didn't look good. I mean, something big is coming. Something big and arcane and dangerous, by my guess.
All right, amazing. That is going to put us at the top of the round with Cal.
Cal is looking around, still trying to like help folks out. And how far would like the navigation room be from where he is right now?
Yeah, like the pilot's room.
Yeah,
fairly close. Could probably make it there. What's Cal's intelligence modifier or intelligence score?
His intelligence score is 18.
18? Yeah, Cal. I think Cal could probably make it there with no problems. And gas to spare, if I had to guess.
First, what he's going to do is he's going to reach out to the Clarisol. So the Clarisol is going to feel like this tugging at their mind, and they're going to hear Cal's voice in their head. And he just starts off, all right, look, I know that this is really weird, so like, please keep your freak out to as minimal as possible, please. Like, I get it. You probably haven't seen that much action on the job because, like, you've got this nice fancy title and it's really cushy and you don't really actually, like, do anything now. But trust me, put some of that overfunded power to use and get your people on this ship safely, okay? I have such a bad feeling about what's happening. I'm going to go try and get the pilot to just, like, punch it. But please, get everybody within this gravitational field, like, now. And he looks towards, like, the pilot's room, and he just launches himself at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cal dives towards the pilot's door, ducking and weaving through folks as if they can also sense the oncoming storm, the chaos that may be about to breach over the horizon. Cal, you slam through the door and find yourself in the pilot's room. Several ships folks are standing on deck and are viewing different displays, which appear to be like visuals of different angles of the ship as they're taking note, like waiting for everybody to be back aboard.
Hey, hi, sorry to interrupt. I know. Okay, you guys got on TV. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. Are you guys ready to go, like, now?
Yes, sir. Of course. As soon as the last prism agent is aboard, we're gonna set full blast. We got to get away from these discorrelation people.
Listen, I don't know if we're gonna have enough time for that. And like, trust me, like they'll probably like send somebody to come through and collect them. Like they'll be able to survive like in the astral sea. Like fine. At the very least, like get the engines warm now. Like don't wait until the last person's on board to be like, all right, let's hit warp 3. Just go ahead and just like spin that right on up.
Of course. Well. So the light rail, it does take some time for it to not for it to activate per se, but we can't just jump to that intense speed. It takes a time for us to build up.
Well, please get us moving.
Yes, right. It's very right. And you could see like the person sit down at the helm of the ship, which is just this immaculate and ornate chair that is carved out of like polished bronze and what looks to be almost a glowing ivory. That would probably be the best way to describe it. And it's gorgeous. And Cal, you recognize this as a spelljamming helm. And the pilot sits down into the vessel and doesn't move, but you and everybody else aboard the ship can feel the judder of the ray begin to start to move forward and the hum of the light rail as it begins to extend further out as a path for it to ride on. Lux and Lance, you see the ship begin to move very slowly, maybe at like 10 feet or so around currently, but it does begin to move away.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Is that it for you, Cal, or did you want to do something with your action?
Just as quick as he bursts through that door, he is back out of it, making his way back to the deck, and he's got a movement speed of 9. Is he going to make it back to the deck with this movement?
Yeah, I think so. It's a pretty small ship.
All right, cool. So yeah, he's back on deck, and he's already just like looking where to render his services next.
Perfect. So you just go back to helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Excellent. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you all off. What are Lance's and Lux's reaction to seeing the ship begin to move?
Does my dog just move with me? Is that what happens?
It's your companion. Did you want Itzel to move with you?
What's the rules for this kind of companion?
We're kind of playing it a little loose, to be honest. I was kind of, I was thinking he was like not necessarily like attached to you at the heel, but he's like, he is an independent creature, right?
Yeah, so I mean, he could probably just be scout. He probably scouts. He could scout, probably on the back. I don't know. He doesn't have to pass over the ship.
Sure. So he stayed aboard the Ray.
Yeah. So I think seeing that, Lex is just gonna look at Lance and like, oh god.
Yep. Time to beat feet. Get back up there.
Yep.
Amazing. All right, great. That is gonna make it Kite's turn.
Okay. Kite freaking out a little bit. And I think he is like oh man. Yeah, he is going to oh man, I don't even know. Oh no.
Kite, paralyzed in indecision.
Paralyzed in indecision. Kite is going to he is going to kind of, I think honestly, with his movement, he is going to Mume his way up because he has a 20 intelligence. So he is going to fly straight up to Lance a little, and in the most annoying, like, younger sibling voice vibe you've ever heard, like, not that he has a younger sibling relationship with Lance necessarily, but like it is that voice, grab onto Lance's like belt and try and like start dragging him back. Like, Lance, we've got to get back onto the ship.
Obviously, I was figuring out how to get myself back there, and now we need to get both of us back there.
He's like, it's fine, I'm fast.
That's really good. So I'm gonna say, because you're like over encumbered in this moment and carrying quote unquote Lance through the astral sea. It's difficult terrain, but I think that's still fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, he has 100 feet of movement.
And they were
so
60
30 feet
away.
out to
Yeah, so he's trying him back pretty decently, a decent distance at least.
Yeah, I think he's successful in pulling Lance to the edge of the boat, and y'all touch down. Kite may be a little winded.
Yeah, he is. He's like, why did I do that? That was dumb. That's all he's doing. It's his whole turn.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Incredible, amazing. That is going to make it the Clara Soul's turn. Clara Soul, like hearing the voice of Cal echo through his head, takes heed of it, and you see him swoop down, angel wings blazing, towards the discorrelation, and from his like gauntleted glowing fists, you see energy blasts begin to pulse out from both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4 energy blasts firing into multiple members of the discorrelation as they are just about to swing their bony claws down onto the members of his squadron, just in time, preventing them and allowing the Prism folks to get up aboard back on to the ship, with the discorrelation beating feet and very hastily following them. Lux is the only one still overboard at this point, but they seem to not have noticed you, Lux, as they just continue to float in a desperate attempt to also seemingly get aboard the Ray. At this point, all the Prism folks are back aboard the Ray, and the discorrelation, several of them have made landing onto the ship, but the majority, more than 3/4, have not made it yet, but they will be able to next turn. That is going to make it Lux's turn.
So there's some of them that are already going overboard, right? Like they're floating through the...
Some of the discorrelation?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of the ones that are still floating in the void. They're the ones that have not managed to make landfall yet onto the Ray. Yeah.
Ugh. How many of them are there?
There's a bunch of them. Kite managed to take out several of them, about 6 or so, but there's still about maybe a dozen and a half.
Don't like that.
Yeah, there's about 18 or so of these discorrelated boys, and there's about a dozen or so of the Prism troops remaining.
How does the Knights of Court feel about the
Discord.
I totally forgot the word. Thank you.
I think that they view they have a tense relationship with the discorrelation because they recognize that they were once just people, but have been so thoroughly corrupted and perverted by what they take to be like the corporations, right? Like they think that the discorrelation and space madness, right? They think that it all stems from this opulent and ridiculous lifestyle that the corporations parade and speak to, right? And supply, right? So it's kind of like almost like the discorrelation are like they are almost like considered to be emblematic of that, right?
Okay. Who's a bigger threat? Prism?
I mean, as of right now,
Or the damn it! Why can't I remember the word suddenly? The discorrelation.
Probably the discorrelation. Currently, you know that the Lathander people are looking for somebody, but you're not sure who still, while the discorrelation seem to just be murdering everybody.
Okay. Like to try and do is, can I attempt to attack with one of them with Whales of the Grave with sneak attack, so I can target a second creature?
Tell me about Whales from the Grave.
At 3rd level, as you nudge someone close to the grave, you can channel the power of death to harm someone else as well. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Roll half the number of sneak attack die for your level, and the second creature takes necrotic damage equal to the roll's total, as Whales of the Dead sound around them for a moment.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. So the way that you would do that is you need to have the sneak attack damage activate first in order for this to be able to, like, this is like an extra thing that you can do right after sneak attack. So in order for you to have sneak attack activate, you need to make like a regular attack roll while you either have advantage or you have that ally within 5 feet of the target. You're still currently hidden, so you are an unseen attacker, so you will have advantage on the attack roll.
Okay. So I can just use like another hand crossbow?
Yeah.
Okay, on one of them. Okay. So we'll do that.
And a 16 will hit, go and roll damage.
Okay.
For 12 points of total damage, yeah, you, again, just got the shit out of this discorrelated person, and they just float off kind of limply. And now you can activate Whales of the Grave.
Okay. So now I do that. And I target another one.
Yeah, just like the nearest one to him?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead, and the second creature takes necrotic damage equal to the roll's total roll half the number of sneak attack dice. So half the number of sneak dice will be go and roll a d6.
Okay. 3.
3 points of damage. So the second one, as the first discorrelated falls, and this is only visible to you, you see his almost like a small sliver of his spirit like rip from his mortal form, and you see it float to that nearby individual that you would target and slip inside of his body and float out the back of him. And as that happens, the flesh that you can see that's visible like necrotizes and rots as that happens. The individual is still up, but they definitely look like that hurt them.
Okay, cool. And then I have cutting action, so I can take a bonus action, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that because I can do it to dash, disengage, or hide. So can I like attempt to? Is it possible to dash fly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And dashing with this increased movement speed gives you way more than enough movement to get back aboard the deck, and even you could even avoid the discorrelated units, right? Like
Okay.
you could move in such a way that you could avoid attacks of opportunity, right?
Okay, cool.
All right, awesome. That's everybody back aboard the ship. So the pilot's ready to action activates, and he begins to lay on the gas, pulling away very quickly now, leaving a good amount of the discorrelated individuals behind. That is going to make it Lance's turn.
Are there discorrelated people on the ship?
Yes, there are about 6 or so that have made landfall.
Cool. I'm going to approach, and I will cast. Can I get within 30 feet of them?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to do Rhyme's Binding Ice. A burst of cold energy emanates from you in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 3d8 cold damage and is hindered by the ice formation for a minute. So Lance just like pulls some good cloud magic or cloud giant magic and sends a wave of cold at these discorrelated people. And the first one, I'll do heightened spells, so I'll spend the sorcery points for that, and it's rolling at disadvantage.
Great. Okay, and they fail. Go in and roll damage.
Cool. Nice. 21 damage.
Let's go.
Amazing.
Wow, very nice. Yeah, almost as if blasting them with liquid nitrogen. They completely freeze solid, and then as the rail begins to pick up speed and move forward, they all just shatter completely, like ice cascading to the ground, and they are no more. Excellent. There are several more discorrelated individuals, but they've kind of being left behind by the ray at this point as it's pulling away from them. Is there anything more you'd like to do?
Just for shits and giggles, I'll have Lady augment again, so she is now my height. And we're just 2 hot ladies.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, you see people stand back kind of suddenly as Lady grows to this large height. Her fractally nature making her glow kind of surreally in this light as you stand there. All right, that's the end of the second round. That's gonna put us at the top of the third round. Cal, you've made your way back out to the deck, and you're helping people up. And wouldn't you know it, you find an old turtle who he'd fallen on his back. He couldn't get up.
Buddy, he's gonna rush over to this old turtle, and he's like, hey. Oh, you all right? We feeling okay?
He's actually gone into his shell, like he's like snugged in, right? But at the hearing your voice, he goes, oh, it's you, and he pops out, and he goes, yes, I seem to be a bit stuck. Can you lend me a hand?
Oh, of course. You're not hurt, are you?
No, I'm fine. I've got the old shell for that. And he like knocks on himself.
All right, Cal's gonna help, just trying to flip him over.
Yeah, you can do so, no problem. He kind of gets a little bit of a rock going, and goes to the one knee, and then crawls his way up, and he gets, I gotta get a walking stick or something like that. Hey, you haven't seen that device that I had, have you?
I'm afraid I haven't. I've been too busy just trying to help folks out.
oh, it's got to be around here somewhere. And he begins to start looking around for it. Cal, whether or not it's subconscious, just due to you wanting to help people, or whether or not you're actually trying, your eyes glance around. But it's not your eyes that pick up on anything, it's your ears, that keen elven hearing. And you hear the sound of a rapid beeping noise emanating from underneath one of the seats.
He's gonna rush on over to the source of this beeping here. He's gonna check under the seat.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? It's the device.
Hey, oh, sir, I found it.
Oh, excellent. He moves very quickly for a turtle over. He looks at the device and his face falls. And this is the first time that you've seen him not like in a jovial, smiling mood. And he goes, "What? But that's impossible." At that point, as soon as he says that, an echoing bang fills the space, different than the sound of a war popping in, different than the sound of the explosion that had happened. This you feel in your bones, and all of you feel this. It is as though the very fabric of what is making you up is shifted in this moment. And from the direction that you are retreating from, you see that ripple effect that you had seen multiple times. It manifests massive, but instead of it being a ripple on a pond, it is a tidal wave. It is a tsunami cresting, and it tears, and reality rips open in that space. Space sunders, and behind it, into the gap, you see nothing and you see everything simultaneously. And emerging from that gap in space-time, you see a being that none of you have ever seen before, except for maybe Lance. You see a huge fractaline creature emerge, bigger than any spelljamming vessel that any of you have seen, except for maybe Kite with the bellowing mountains ships, the mountains themselves. This thing is huge. It is infinite and endless, pouring out of this rift in space-time, and it is serpentine and draconic and mollusk-esque. It's almost octopus-like. It is all these things and none of them simultaneously as it just comes pouring out. And Lance, you see it is fractaline in nature. You see the curving magical equations that just so happen to naturally occur in the bubble that you've found so far. You see it is made chock full of that very same energy, and it begins to move towards you very rapidly, more rapidly than anything should be able to move of that size. Before you can realize what is happening, its mouth, its jaw, clamp down onto the ray, and one of the last things that you see is the light of the Clara Soul being extinguished between this thing's gargantuan jaws as the ship is crushed, and with you aboard it, surprisingly, you're still like, it's light inside of this creature, inside of this gullet. Everybody go in and make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh, no.
A 19.
let's go.
Oh no.
Everybody who rolled above a 15
Oh no.
takes 5 points of damage, and you are able to stay clinging to the ship as it is bitten in half, to the deck of the ship, as almost like fleas on the back of a dog. Y'all cling to the ship as it goes spinning off. Kite, you are not so lucky. You get flung off into the gullet of this thing, and as you kind of float high above, like 50 or so some odd feet, the level of ejection was intense. As you bounce off, you can see this thing, this mouth, it has multiple throats, multiple sets of teeth, tongues, tentacles, and as you see the ship gets destroyed, the prism ship gets destroyed, and these tentacles are clawing at the different pieces, sending different chunks down different gullets and different routes, and you see people begin to go down one of the larger gullets. You see them just begin to get sucked in. You take 10 points of damage from the ejection and from the shockwave of the bite. And then you feel one of these tentacles begin to grab at you and pull you towards this large opening. The rest of the party on the aboard the deck, of the ship, you also can tell like the big chunk that y'all are on, as well as the 2 or so dozen people aboard the broken sun deck of the Ray. It's all heading towards the gullet. And we'll just go back and jump into the initiative order. So Cal, what do you do?
Does Cal just see Kite just go flying off?
You sure fucking do. You see him get fucking launched.
Okay, and how far did he go?
About 50 feet up. He's still got like some ejection momentum, but like a friendly tentacle has grabbed him and arrested him in the air. Isn't that nice?
No.
Too easy. Okay. So a tentacle has grabbed the guy, the dude.
Just a little guy.
Cal is going to... His eyes, like, just gleam just for a second. And he shifts into a discipline that is going to give his walking speed 10 more feet. And I'm going to dump 3 psi points into Rapid Step, which, as a bonus action, increases my walking speed by 10 feet per psi point spent. So this should give me a total of...
You just added 40.
Yeah. So we should be at 130 feet.
Holy shit. Okay.
All right.
And Cal just launches himself to where Kite is. And he is going to grab hold of the tentacle. And we're going to see if we can get this thing to just, like, let go of Kite.
Please.
Sure, you want to like unwrap him from the pseudopod?
Yes, but also we're going to do Hand of Radiance.
Okay.
To just kind of like help it along, you know?
Sure, tell me about Hand of Radiance.
Will do. You raise your hand, burning radiance erupts from it, and each creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of you must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 of damage.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's real convenient too, because there's like a bunch more tentacles that are starting to come in at you, like curious about you and what's going on with this fuzzy guy. So yeah, that's great. So you can hit more than just the tentacle holding Kite if you'd like. You can hit the other encroaching ones too.
Sure. Let me just double check what my save DC would be.
I do see 14 on here.
Yeah, because it's all intelligence based. Yeah. So it would be 14.
Great.
Within 5 feet, any of the little tentacles big tentacles that are approaching, yeah, we're gonna Hand of Radiance that.
Awesome. Yeah. What does it look like as you cast Hand of Radiance?
Even though his hand is gloved, like the light that erupts from it is just so bright that it just kind of like, it's almost blinding if you're looking directly at it. And it's not just a pure white light, it's almost kind of like a hazy iridescent type color as it just like spreads from his hand and then pushes back at these tentacles.
Beautiful. Yeah, the tentacles fail, so go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
Such a funny statement.
What? The tentacles fail?
Tentacles fail.
Well, they take a whopping 2 damage. We just need to singe them a little bit. Maybe loosen up. Let me pull this cat boy out of here.
Yeah, the tentacles, they do look hurt from that. Like they're not all defeated, but it does look like several of them have kind of shied away. A little bit like nervous about the pain.
Gotcha. Can I grab onto Kite?
Sure. I'm going to say you can just grab him if you would like, but using Hand of Radiance would have been your action.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, you can just grab his collar or his cape.
Yeah, he just grabs onto like the back of his collar and then he like starts to pull. Yeah, that'll be Cal's turn.
Beautiful. That is going to make it Kite's turn.
Okay. Kite is like, what are you doing? I've got this. Oh, he doesn't got this though. He is going to oh gosh. Okay. He is going to use Sapping Sting on the tentacle that's holding him. And it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, I love that. Let me go in and roll. What's the DC?
15.
All right, awesome. They fail again. Man, I've been rolling like shit tonight.
Okay. Takes 1 damage, but it falls prone.
I've never seen a tentacle fall prone.
Which is the more important part out of this.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that works. Fuck it, that's great. I like that. So yeah, you sting into the what does it look like as Kite does this?
In this moment, I think he just like grabs onto the tentacle and sinks his claws into it, and then there's just this like intense necrotic like energy that comes out of his hands. It's like this kind of black energy that kind of comes out, and it just like it almost builds up like smoke around his hands for a second, and then it stings, makes like a noise.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, and as the sting penetrates into this fractal tentacle that's grabbed you, Kite, you can see that the gold shimmering runic energy of the fractaline creature, of this tentacle, you can see it shift and turn black and off color, like spreading down into the creature itself. And as this happens, it uncoils around you and kind of falls limp at your feet.
Amazing. As soon as it does that, Kite looks at Cal and is like, "See, I told you I had it," and then proceeds to book it back to the ship. Or at least wherever Lance is. He's booking it towards trying to stick with Lance.
Yeah, perfect. Do you bring Cal with you?
Yeah, I'll grab Cal. I won't be
You
mean.
don't have to grab Cal. It's fine.
I know. I'm gonna grab Cal anyway.
Kite, just not looking, grabs Cal by like the shoulder and is just like,
Yeah. She's like, "Guess you're coming with me."
And Kite has 20 or 18 intelligence, right?
20.
20 intelligence. Perfect. You had gotten bounced like 50 feet away, so you are able to, even with the encumbered nature, you're able to bring Cal and yourself back to the sun deck. That is going to make it the Prism soldiers' turns. The Prisms are going to attempt to secure the civilians as best as possible, like tie them together, and you know they weren't trained for this, so they're just acting as they deem best. But you can tell that they're kind of struggling, especially since their leader has been killed. That is going to make it Lux's turn.
Enemies like that are at large here.
Yeah, I mean, you do see these large fractaline tentacles kind of coming up over the deck and like beginning to wrap around different parts of the ship, and it's creaking and very loudly, like you can see like stress lines and fractures beginning to form. The ship itself has already been bitten in half, with the lower half of the ship, the cargo hold, being chomped off and taken somewhere else in this large gullet.
Great!
I'm sorry, hello?
Bye, bag of holding. Goodbye, caller.
Yep, I don't like that.
Ugh.
Oh, my paper.
My buddy.
Oh, your little guy.
I think I'm just gonna have Lex get out her scimitar and just start trying to slice the hold on the ship currently.
Oh yeah, like the tentacles?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have like Itzel move up and like assist you with that?
Absolutely. I do.
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead and roll to hit. And if you hit, you'll have sneak attack because Itzel is helping you.
No!
That's rough, buddy.
And 8, though, I don't think you've encountered something of this nature before, and it's a little difficult to actually strike. Like, you're not really sure what the weak point of this fractal creature is, so you're feeling like you're not hitting as well as you could be.
Isn't Itzel helping, though?
Oh yeah, I guess that would be. Sorry, you're right. That would be advantage. Lux, you're kind of confused, or you're kind of unsure about where to strike this thing to do maximum damage. But then you see kind of Itzel almost kind of like pointedly looking at a specific section of the tentacle, and you pick up on his assistance and you bring it down right there, hitting. Go ahead and roll damage with sneak attack. 14 points of damage. Yeah, you cut this tentacle clean, and it, the smaller one kind of goes flailing off, the stump writhing as the piece of tentacle flops down onto the deck before dissipating into magical energy. Did you want to use Whales of the Grave, or is that like a resource that you have that you can't use all the time?
So I can't use it all the time, no. But I do have a bonus action, but I don't think that's gonna...
What's the bonus action?
I could either do dash, disengage, or hide, and so I don't think. How many more tentacles are there?
There's about 6.
A lot of tentacles.
I don't know if this helps, but as a rogue, I feel like hiding always helps.
Mm-hmm.
Hide is good.
All right, she gonna hide.
Yeah, go ahead and roll stealth.
Okay, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, you kind of secrete yourself away. It's a little difficult to tell because you're not seeing any eyes inside of this mouth, so you're not really sure how the tentacles are targeting things.
Yeah.
But you feel hidden.
Okay. Is there anything like I mean, I can't do anything else really, but like, so the ship or the thing that swallowed the ship.
Oh, I have a name for the thing. Sorry, the thing is an Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Ooh.
There's like there's no way to get down there, is there? Without like risking your life to a stupid degree.
Down the throat?
Yeah.
You're thinking about this, and then you realize it might not matter what your opinion is because the throat hole is rapidly coming up.
Oh, the throat hole.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I can't do anything now. It's a little tentacle slash. Now I'm thinking I should have done something. That's fine. Okay, the end of turn. It's over.
Yeah, the sun deck is kind of it's being held by these tentacles, but there's like these philia underneath this like chunk of sun deck that is kind of like buffeting it along this gullet.
Okay, but like, how far is the cargo hold from us?
Kite would have seen it actually when he got bounced hella high into the air. He would have seen it going down another throat hole.
No!
2 throat holes!
Oh, this guy's got lots of throat holes.
Imagine 7 throat holes.
Oh my god. Wait, can I change my bonus action?
Sure. What do you want to do instead?
What, can I just hold my fucking sword out? Scimitar out? Sorry.
Sure. I mean, you could. I'll say you can do that as like you get a free item interaction. So you could. Well, you already had your scimitar out. You attacked with that.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. If we get swallowed, I want to be able to like hold the scimitar and slice this thing's mouth.
Oh, it's too late for that. You're in the mouth already. You're in the mouth of the whale at this point. Like,
I think she wants to like slice it on its way down though.
I do. Yeah.
It's esophagus.
oh, I see.
I want to damage it from the inside. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You have like another turn coming up before you're going to be sliding down that hole, down the water rapids. So you can do that on that next turn.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect.
Right,
Thank
great.
you. End of turn. Goodbye.
Happy to. I'm here to serve. All right, Lance. That's going to be. What is you doing?
What am I doing? Oh.
Like, what is there to do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is there to do? Have we cleared off all the discorrelated at least?
Some of them are like kind of they are in the mouth of the beast with you. Like you see several of them have been like gripped by tentacles. They are kind of impotently struggling against them, but they are in the mouth with you.
Don't like that.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I guess I'm going to target 2 tentacles. So I'll do a Chaos Bolt that I will twin. And I'll fire at 1 tentacle. 21 to hit. And a 14 to hit.
Both of those hit.
So the first one takes 12. Let's go with psychic damage. And the other one takes 11 poison damage.
Perfect. Yeah. And both of those chaos bolts are enough to just destroy the those tentacles with their various damage types. The psychic damage just causing it to like seize and fall limp and the poison damage having a similar effect as Kite's, turning it black and affecting the local surrounding tissue, I guess you would call it, of the fractaline creature. Awesome. Anything more for Lance?
I think that'll be it for me.
All right, perfect. You know, I said that there was going to be another turn before you all got swallowed. Is it okay if I abbreviate that and we can just say Lux slashes the thing on the way down?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's all I want to do.
I mean, I was I was gonna ask if there was a way to, like, I don't know, maybe punch a hole in its throat. Like, how much damage would one have to do?
I mean, you can try.
I mean, because we've got a whole other throat we gotta get to. Like, we might not even be going to the same stomach. We've all got some, like, really important stuff on that cargo hold.
Sure. So you wanted to like you wanna try to punch a hole in the wall, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, go for it. The nearest wall to you is probably going to be just like as you are about to like go over the lip of the like the rapid over the edge of the fall per se. But like if you have everybody on the same wavelength, right, on the level with you about, hey, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen, so get ready. You can all be like ready to jump and go through this hole if you were to craft one.
Oh my gosh, I don't think a bullet hole's going to be big enough.
What?
Unless.
Yeah, I mean, you are looking at the inside of this thing, and it does look incredibly, like, the tentacles seem to be, like, basically, like, weak philia that have grown off of it, but the tissue and the flesh itself, like, you're seeing it rip apart a starship, like it's tinfoil.
Yeah, but that could also just be a size thing, you know?
True.
Okay.
It's very difficult to tell because this thing is huge.
Cal is, like, staring, and he's honestly a bit dismayed. Just that quick, because he was so focused on saving other people, he's lost probably what he would consider like his most valuable possession, right? Because, you know, as a wanderer, you know, you got a bag of holding. All your stuff's in there, dude. It's like my stuff, like all my stuff. It's just like it's just in a different throat hole now. It's my stuff. Bruh, like my fucking stuff, dude.
Dude, where's my stuff?
Exactly, dude. Like, this guy fucking, like, he just, like, throated my stuff. I don't appreciate that, okay? So whether it's actually going to be useful or not, he does have a frustrated look, and his eye gleams again as he reaches into his holster and pulls out his gun. And he does aim it at, I guess, just like at the walls of the throat of this thing. Yeah, he's going to dump 3 psionic points into lethal strike. So as a bonus action, he imbues his weapon with psychic energy, and the next time he hits, before the end of his turn, it deals an extra 1d10 psychic damage per psi point spent. So we're just gonna shoot. We're just gonna fucking send it, dude.
Hell yeah. Roll a 20. I mean, that'll hit.
Oh gosh, okay. Let's roll. So we're gonna do a total of 30 damage.
Is all of this, like the 17 is psychic, right?
Yeah, the 17 is psychic.
And the 13 is piercing, right?
Yes.
Is it magical or not magical?
Using his psionic weapon focus, whenever he attacks, its damage is psychic and magical rather than normal.
Nice. Okay, cool. So the 30 points of damage, you cut into like shooting a desperate shot, trying to burrow your way through. You attempt to blast your way into the creature and into that other maw that you had seen, into that other passage. As you do so, you deal this massive burst of damage as just the wall is concaved inward as this occurs. Like and you knock maybe 5 feet in deep into this creature, blasting this magical energy flesh out of the way. And as you do so, you just see even more spaces open up from this new hole. Like it's like the creature is fractaling, so it's infinite, and you see that as you look into it. You see that as you've made this weak spot in it, it regrows and rebuilds itself. And that's where all these tentacles come from, right? As this damage is sustained, a huge mass of tentacles bursts out of that newly formed spot and pulls the sun deck down into the throat. Lux cutting her way down the side of it, slashing with her scimitar. It's cutting a little bit. It's not dealing huge amounts of damage, but damn, is it not satisfying as y'all are sliding down this thing's gullet, splashing. Y'all are in free fall for what feels like a minute or so before splashing down into a large yellowish viscous pond that just smells horrendous. Y'all are looking around and you see crafted almost affixed to the side of this large yellow river snaking down this creature is a ramshackle town seemingly built of scrap metal and bits of pieces. And the sign that you are greeted with reads Stomachton.
No.
Of course. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I guess this might as well happen.
And I think that's where we're going to end this session, this part 1. Thank you so much to everyone for being here. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST for part 2. Hope to see you there. And until next time, stay magical.